Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this special episode where we are going to talk about the ideas in Europa Universalis 4. Sorry about this slightly weird cut. I kind of pulled this out of an episode and decided, you know what, this should probably be standalone. So enjoy. I think this is going to be very helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if it is. And I promised that I would talk about the new ideas, and I will do so. So if we click on here, we can see already some of the icons have changed, so those have clearly got new things. So under innovative, prestige decay I think is the same. Innovativeness gain is definitely new. So this is going to be fantastic for the countries which are already kind of ahead of time. So the smaller going tall ones with innovative gaining innovativeness. That's something which they had said, yeah, we probably should have done this earlier. And it's going to be really, really nice. Now I wonder if that plus 50% is going to be just the over time innovativeness gain, or whether that's also going to include events if you get 50% more from that. I'm not sure, because some nations like England can get a ridiculous amount of innovativeness just because of that. And also I think that might make Anglicanism stronger because they also have an innovativeness gain modifier. So we've got tech cost, institution embracement cost. Don't think that's changed. Don't think that's changed. Don't think that's changed. Don't think that's changed. Nor that. Nor that. Religious. No. No, some of these orders may have changed. I'm not entirely sure about that. I have a fairly decent knowledge of what was around before. Missionary maintenance cost. That's new. Not sure what it's replacing. I know that there was a overview of all the previous ideas and what they replaced. I don't have that in front of me right now, so I'm just kind of guessing. But if you want to take a look at that, then just Google it, and I'm sure you'll find it. So the missionary maintenance cost minus 50% is going to be important, because we'll get to that in a minute. But missionaries generally are going to be a lot more expensive than they used to be. So no longer can you just leave missionaries always at maximum maintenance. So that's not going to work. Deus Volt. Yeah, pretty sure that's the same. And then here is the big one. Culture conversion cost still has the reduction. Clergy monthly loyalty plus 10%. Okay, that's not what I thought it was. So one of the changes is that you can now convert territories. That was one of the changes which they'd done. It didn't work. They have since revoked it in this update. And what's going to happen is territories are much more expensive to convert now. Much, much, much more. To the point where it might be prohibitive. I'm not sure. I haven't done it. I haven't been able to test that. And this is going to reduce the cost of doing so. So that's why this ability here is so important. Economic. Are you still going to be my favourite idea ever? Pretty sure you are. And then 20% dev? Yeah, you are. Economics still amazing. Okay, so expansion and exploration have had their roles switched. Exploration is primarily for when you want to go and find new lands, and then expansion is if you want to go and settle it. So the first thing you'll notice about expansion is it now has 2 colonists. That used to be exploration. Furthermore, the global settler increase for expansion is now higher than the exploration. So exploration is for you to get to the new world and find it and basically get an early start and a jump on that. And then if you want to really expand your holdings overseas, that's when you jump on the expansion ideas, and that's going to allow you to grow a lot quicker. So expansion's got the 2 colonists, the merchant's still the same. Settler growth I think has doubled. Factories, this is new. Fort maintenance on border with a rival, minus 50%. Okay. And center of upgrade cost. I do not remember seeing that before. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Minus 20% to center of trade upgrade cost. I like it. Diplomatic relations plus 1. Was that always there? I don't think that was always there. That's also really good. Expansion has suddenly become like almost a must-have. Settler chance, another very important modifier. So with Dharma they introduced the ability to use a colonist to increase development in a province you already own, rather than using a colonist to go to another province. That was often used in the late game when there was nothing else left to colonize. That settler chance is going to increase the chances of developing a province, because that is based on your settler chance modified by development cost. So having this is going to allow you to expand your own territories by investing in your own territories with a colonist active. Global trade power plus 20%. Nice. And you can fabricate on overseas trade companies and you can get plus 5 states. So I don't think that's changed. But expansion has just become a hell of a lot stronger. Like, a lot stronger, to the point where that might actually be slightly overpowered. Mercenary cost to -25%. I don't think that admin has changed. Mercenary maintenance, interest, available mercs, possible admin tech, number of states. No, I'm pretty sure that hasn't changed. I think expansion having number of states modifier has changed, though. I'm pretty sure that used to only be admin. Then we have humanist, unity, unrest, tolerance to heretics, separatism, max promoted cultures, improved relations, tolerance to heathens, and idea cost. So humanist I don't think has changed. Espionage. Espionage I know has, and we'll see why in a minute. Spy network and advisor cost. This is a hidden advisor cost. There's a different icon. Advisor cost should be... Actually, there is no icon for advisor cost because it's also hidden there. But lots of people didn't realise that. Diplomats +1, foreign spy detection +33, aggressive expansion impact. That has been moved away from influence. So one of the only reasons that I would ever have taken influence is now gone. So whatever slight chance there was of me taking diplomatic or influence ideas in a game has now basically just disappeared. And espionage has become a hell of a lot stronger, which is going to be great for us because of that. Privateer efficiency +33%, embargo efficiency +25%. We want to try and stack those privateer efficiencies modifiers as much as possible because we want to have a lot of privateers out and about. That's going to be really quite important. Okay, so claim fabrication. This is a biggie. May fabricate claims for subjects. So previously you could get a subject to fabricate a claim for themselves, but you could not fabricate a claim and then... Oh, sorry, you could not do it yourself. Now you can. So if you have a subject who's adjacent to a piece of territory that you want to get, probably for your subject, you can now do that with this. And the cost to fabricate claims is also reduced, so you're going to need less of a spy network, which you're going to be getting very quickly anyway. So that's kind of an interesting change. Doesn't affect me very much because I don't play massively expansionist, but I know a lot of people are really quite excited about that. This is the one I'm excited about, and this is one of the reasons where I've very, very, very sincerely considered going espionage, especially in multiplayer, because people do not realise just how powerful and how economy cripplingly strong that combination can be. Yearly corruption down, which I'm pretty sure was there already, and then the rebel support efficiency definitely was. So diplomatic gets diplomats, diplomatic relations, another diplomat. I think they only used to get one. Don't quote me on that one though, don't remember. Like I said, diplomatic and influence are probably the two ideas I'm the least familiar with because I've never taken them. Diplo rep +2 is pretty good. Province war score -20, nice. Diplo tech, and then lowered impact on stability from diplomatic actions. Yeah, no real changes there. Trade, global trade power. So that plus that equals money. That plus that equals the Dutch. Merchants, trade range, trade efficiency, another merchant, trade steering, caravan power, and merchant. So yeah, that's not changed. Quest for the New World used to be the second option. You used to be the colonist, then the quest. They've moved the quest first, so you can go exploring sooner in order to find some lands for your colonist to get to. However, you're probably not going to be able to use the colonist until you've got overseas exploration, which is +50% colonial range. The only one that can, I think, colonize from the start of the game is Portugal. Maybe Castile. Not sure about that one. I just realized, actually, taking expansion for like African nations or for Native Americans could be super strong, or maybe even some of the Siberian miners where there's a lot of open land around you. Just take expansion ideas, although you still need to explore, I guess, because you've got Terra Incognita. Lots of new options this is opening up. Settler increase, which we've said has gone down. Global tariffs used to be 20%, so the tariff modifier has gone down, and you've got an envoy travel time increase. Expel minorities cost. So one of the new features in this DLC is expelling minorities, which allows you to increase the stability of the home countries. It basically reduces revolt risk or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's something like if you are playing as Britain, you're Anglican, you get a Protestant province, you can say to those Protestants, get out. In which case that province will convert to Anglican. Or is it culture? Might be culture. Probably is culture. Something like that anyway. They'll move to the colonies, your colony will expand or get, I think, free development, and it will also switch the culture or religion of the people that you're expelling, and doing so is now cheaper with this. I don't know how much it is, I have not had a chance to check, Naval force limit plus 25%, which exploration's always had. And then fabricate on overseas colonial regions. That is the same. Maritime. So, there was a very vocal group on the forums which said that maritime ideas were rubbish. I really disagreed with them. I thought the maritime was actually one of the strongest, albeit slightly more subtle, idea groups out there. And thanks to those guys, maritime ideas are now even stronger. Yes. Thank you for making my navies even better. So we've got naval tradition from protecting trade, which was already a fantastic source of naval tradition. Now we get even more of it from protecting trade. So those times when I have like 500 light ships protecting trade, yeah, I'm going to be sitting at 100% naval tradition, like, continuously. Unfortunately, that is only from protecting trade, so I think privateering, we're not going to benefit from that. But if we were in, say, the Dutch game, we're going to be maxing out naval tradition all the time. National sailors, plus 50%, super useful. More so than I ever thought, actually, because I have run out of sailors really quite frequently as a big maritime nation. Sailor maintenance down, so the reason for losing a lot of the sailors is the maintenance that they cost while on a mission. For example, the 500 aforementioned light ships protecting trade has a really high sailor upkeep. That reduces it. Force limit plus 50%. Why people weren't falling over themselves for this one in the same way that they do it for quantities plus force limit modifier, I'm not sure. Ship cost minus 10%, always useful, especially when you're trying to build heavies. This is one which caused a little bit of an uproar. Admiral cost minus 25%, and then also leaders without upkeep increased. So this is now one of 2 manners, I think, that you have of increasing leaders without upkeep. The other one being innovative, which is actually really powerful. So this basically means you can always have an admiral running at any time, and your admirals are cheaper, which is also nice because that means you're going to be using less military points on recruiting good admirals. And then we've also got blockade efficiency and they've gained privateer efficiency. They did not used to have that. This one's changed too. What did this used to be? Who cares? It's amazing. Blockade efficiency means that you need to use less ships to blockade. So with the same number of ships, you can basically blockade twice as much, or twice as many ports worth of development. And then also privateer efficiency. That's 25% from that. Then it's another 33% from that, and then another 15% from our national idea. Not even mentioning any policies that we decide to use. We're going to have a huge amount of privateer efficiency. And then this was the hidden bonus. Ships repair in coastal areas. So much of the map is coastal. Like if you're blockading, your units are effectively immune to attrition because they'll just repair. It's ridiculous, although that does come with a very high sailor cost. That's bitten me more than once. Because to repair they use sailors. And that means you're using a lot of sailors very quickly. Okay, influence. Like I said, I don't know these as well. Income from vassals plus 25%. I think that's unchanged. Liberty, desire, and subjects minus 15%. I think that's been added. That used to be an espionage idea. I think that's now been moved to influence, which is pretty nice. Diplo annexation cost minus 25%. Diplo relations plus 1. Diplo reputation plus 2. Envoy travel time minus 25. Vassal force limit contribution. So one thing which I really don't understand is your vassals are stronger, and yet you also get to annex them for cheaper? What? This is why I don't like influence. It's such a double-edged sword, and it doesn't really benefit either. And then unjustified demands minus 50%, which means you can just take more in a war. Aristocratic, I don't think that these have changed. Although Miltech used to be later. I'm fairly sure that Miltech cost used to be, like, right back here. So that's now earlier, because you'll notice this one's right at the end, this one's right at the end. So right there is a reason to go aristocratic. Yearly absolutism goes up, and monthly autonomy also. That's pretty good. I think that used to just be autonomy, so that's a way of getting additional absolutism for those of you who want to run with really high discipline and really high admin efficiency. National manpower plus 33%, nice. Army tradition and navy tradition decay, super strong actually. Another leader without upkeep. So this has also been sneakily added. There are now 3 sources in ideas for leaders without upkeep, and a diplomat, available mercenaries plus 20%, and then leader siege plus 1, which I think has also been added. So your leaders are better at sieging stuff, which kind of goes quite nicely with offensive, and then your nobility are also more loyal. Offensive, shock's always been there, recruitment's always been there, fire's always been there, prestige, siege ability, such a strong ability, plus 20% land force limits. I think that's always been 20. Might have been 25. Discipline, and then recover more army morale. Yeah, that's not changed. +1 army tradition, so strong. Plus 15% morale of armies. Yeah, people seem to like that one. Maneuver, maintenance modifier, fort maintenance, fort defense, reinforced speed, land attrition, and attrition for enemies. Don't think that's changed. Infantry +10, yearly. Did that always have yearly army tradition and quality? Yeah, I feel like it must have. Cavalry combat, ship durability, morale of navies, naval attrition, artillery combat, and then another discipline. So both offensive and quality give the discipline. That's not changed. Manpower +50, recovery speed +20, regiment cost -10. That's kind of really weak. I don't like that idea at all, because armies usually aren't that expensive anyway, except artillery, I guess. Land maintenance -5, although actually reducing the recruitment cost I think also reduces the maintenance, which is a percentage of the recruitment cost, so that has another hidden benefit. Maintenance modifier, national supply limit modifier, that has changed, so you can now move around with bigger stacks and take the attrition simply because the supply limit is higher. Whether that national supply limit, whether that means in your own borders or anywhere, I'm not entirely sure. I suspect anywhere, because it'd be kind of rubbish if it wasn't. Garrison size +25, land attrition -10, and then land force limits +50%. Very nice. Naval ideas +1, naval leader shock, galleys +25, naval leader fire +1, and morale hit when losing a ship -33%. That plus my own morale hit when losing ship modifier basically means I can throw galleys into fight even if it's not in an inland sea and not lose morale from it. That's going to be a really powerful combination. Like, you're probably going to be astonished just how powerful that combination is going to be, because usually you will lose a naval battle because your ships are retreating and sinking, and every time a ship leaves they lose a pretty actually hefty chunk of morale, so very strong. Yearly naval tradition, nice. Sailor recovery speed +25, nice. Heavy combat +20, obviously really good. Global naval engagement, another very, very strong option. Basically means that you can throw more ships into a fight and more of them will fight compared to the opponent, and generally if you have naval ideas and your opponent doesn't, it's difficult to lose a naval battle between the global naval engagement and the morale hit when losing a ship. And then ship durability +10 means you lose less ships. So yeah, there you go. There is the rundown of ideas. Innovative really changed, expansion's really changed, espionage has changed, exploration has changed, maritime, I think aristocratic, and quantity a little bit. Oh, and influence. And maybe diplomatic, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't feel like these diplomats were so close together. But there you go. There's your little bit of a rundown, which only took 18 minutes. I should probably have made a video of that just on its own. In fact, I might even just cut that out and put it as a separate video. I'm not sure. We'll see.